Peter Burchfield, and I'm so excited to be hanging out with you this week. And it is Future Friday, so you know anything can happen. And I'm excited about taking you on a self-leadership journey. You know, we've got to learn how to lead ourselves so that way we show up better prepared and more present for the people and the projects that matter. And we have started season 2, which is going to be just next level because we are doubling down on our commitment to learn what self-leadership is all about and to learn how to just make big contributions this year. If you're excited about 2022, go ahead and put some fire in the chats and let me know in the comments where you're watching from. And we want to make this time interactive. But like I mentioned, my name is Peter Burchfield. I'm the creator of Pioneer the Year course, and it's all about helping you learn life planning and leadership so you make 2022 unforgettable in the best kind of way. And so I'm going to involve some talking points here, and I want you to jump in with the coaching. We're going to dive right in, and we're going to talk about what do we actually work on during Future Friday, right? We're making this commitment to be more future focused, to learn self-leadership so we can lead ourselves into those things and ideas and projects that other people haven't even imagined yet, right? That's why we have to go there first, because you are the one who can see what's possible. You are the one who has all of the experiences that make this thing work. And so to do that, I want to involve you in some learning that we're going to be doing. We're going to be learning together by reading this book this month. It's called Atomic Habits. It's by James Clear. I'm really excited about diving into this topic because really it's all about your habits. And I grew up hearing that first you make your habits and then your habits make you. And so you really can make this year different, and you can expect this year to make a difference in your life and in other people's lives, but you've got to put in the work and focus on your habits. Even the really, really, really small ones, they all add up. And that's what this book, Atomic Habits, is all about. I'll give a link in the description in the back at the bottom of this. And I want you to jump on, join this learning journey with us, this leadership community, and that will be great. But I want to dive into just the topic at hand, which is how do we lead ourselves? How do we stay future focused? Most of us were just catching up from stuff we didn't do last week or last month, or we're trying to just tread water on projects and promises that we've made last year or the year before. And if we're not careful, we get stuck in what I call the repeat year cycle. The repeat year cycle is when you're basically going in a holding pattern. You're writing the same goals down year after year, but you're not making traction. You're talking about the same frustrations with your friends or your team workers, and nothing's really clicking. And you're wondering and wandering through the future frontier saying, what am I missing? And what happens is we get stuck in these repeat year cycles. It's like we're doing stuff, but we're not really going further into what's important or what's possible. And we're kind of just in the day-to-day making life happen, but we're not walking through the future with purpose and intentionality. And so that's why we want to actually get away so we can get ahead. And so for me, I designate Future Fridays as my, deep work day where I can be thinking about the week ahead, think about the big goals I've made for that quarter, and I can be having great conversations like this one with other future-minded friends, other future-minded leaders. And so I just wanted to bring you into this space in season 2. And I wanted to do this in real time where we could actually be, sharpening the saw, so to speak, like Dr. Covey would say, and where we're actually putting in the work, not just theory, not just giving good concepts, but we're taking the time like this is a real focused work session, and we're going to get ready for another great week of work ahead. So it really is possible to pioneer the entire year if you know how to lead yourself and stay focused on your future. And that's what I want to do. I want to be here to encourage you and coach you into your future week by week on Future Fridays. Just make it a point, whether you're right here in the live stream or whether you're checking this out later on. Be a part of this leadership community and let's learn self-leadership so that way we can lead by example and we can go take on the future together. And so what I want to talk about is, what do you actually work on when you're, showing up for a Future Friday? What do you actually work on when you have 30 minutes of just open space? What do you actually work on when you've got all this motivation and energy? What do we do? And I want to start with a very simple but often overlooked point, which is that work is good. For whatever reason, we get this idea from what we see on the internet that, work is dumb, work is pointless, work is for other people, and we're going to figure out how to literally get rid of any possibility of work. We want to automate everything, delegate to anyone. We want to get as far away from, the cubicle culture as possible. And so we kind of create this boogeyman syndrome. And we're like, the luxury life is to do as little work as possible. But I just want to remind you that work is good. And whatever you're working on is actually working on you in some other way, right? It's working on your character, it's working on your skill set, it's working on your leadership skills. And so work is valuable. And it's not that work is just arbitrary, blanketed, generalized, good, bad. Work is important based on the values that we're bringing, based on the choices that we're making, based on the thing that we say is worth our time, worth our creativity, worth our passion. And so I want to just push back on this idea that all we're trying to do is, make money without putting in effort, or, get ahead without ever going through a process. What you'll find is a very helpless situation. I don't want to be in a situation where I don't know how to fix that flat tire, or I don't know how to interact in a new environment, or I don't know how to connect with people from other cultures. I want to be well versed in life. I want to be well versed in the stuff of life. And that means you have to go through some trial and error, and you've got to fail ahead and figure out how do you actually accelerate those learning curves, so that way when you show up the next time, you'll show up better prepared. You'll show up ready. And so work doesn't have to be a dirty word. Work doesn't have to be something that we're trying to avoid. Work is good. It's honest. It's valuable. It's important. And it's the work that's going on in you while you're engaged in the stuff, but it's also what you're bringing out of you into the world around you. And I just want to remind you that you have something that the world needs. You have purpose, you have design, you have, creativity, and there's something that is inside of you that's got to get worked out. It's got to be given and shared and multiplied with the world. And so really embrace the work of figuring out your values, figuring out how you're going to make all of these passions work in a cohesive schedule. Figure out how you're going to expand that dream inside of you to involve other people and serve other people, and figure out how leadership is actually going to be a point of leverage to get that work beyond yourself. So work doesn't have to be bad. Work can be good. Unfortunately, a lot of people have abused work, and they've abused that work crazy culture, the hustle culture, the burnout culture. It's very real. And I think it's because a lot of times we idolize work, right? We idolize what we can do or what we got done, or it kind of just becomes a point of pride in our life. And we have to stay humble and realize that every good thing is a gift from God, and we are just stewarding what He's already given to us, whether it's our gifts, whether it's our time, our talents, our relationships, our resources. Man, we're not just trying to figure this thing out on our own. We can make a difference. We can go the distance. And so we've got to be aware that work can have unhealthy forms, but real work is always going to be worth it. All right? Real work, when you're putting in real, rewarding, fulfilling work. And that's why you don't want to be in a system, and you don't want to be in a scenario where you're doing all this work and it's pretty much pointless. You're doing all this work and it's going to get undone. Or you're doing all this work and it doesn't actually reward the effort and the skill that you put into it. When you do real work, you know the difference. When you are engaged in something that's pulling on the best of you and not just the rest of you, you want to share that with other people, right? But if you're just kind of going through the motions and it's mundane and your work is mediocre and maybe it's mind numbing and it's soul crushing, you don't want to give that away. You don't want to share that with anybody. And so one of the reasons you might be kind of done at the end of the day, and you're like, I don't even want to think about my work. I don't even want to work on that passion project right now. It's because you probably just have disconnected from the joy and the fulfillment of, sharing something valuable with those around you, with the world. So real work is always going to be worth it. But it is always going to be attacked by the enemy of real work, which is fake work. Man, that's where we live, right? That's why this self-leadership conversation matters so much. I mean, that's why I have to keep thinking about how I'm investing my time and how I'm being productive and how I'm going to lead myself and how I'm going to lead by example, because fake work is everywhere. Fake work happens all the time. If we're not aware, then fake work just kind of pretends to be the thing to focus on. It's going to be loudest. It's going to always be screaming for our attention. It's always going to have that shiny object syndrome attached to it. And fake work is what we find ourselves being, tempted by over and over again. And so I just kind of wanted to compare and contrast, and look at a case study level, what is fake work, what is real work, and what is the litmus test to know the difference? How do you actually know if what you're working on is fake work or real work? And it's very simple. Fake work is always going to cheat your future. There it is. Fake work will cheat you of the reward in the future, or the journey that you're going on into the future. Fake work is generally going to just keep you in the now. It's just going to keep you in a hamster wheel. It's just going to keep you going and going without really making traction. And fake work is going to feel good, in the moment, oh, I just, did inbox 0 again. It's yeah, but is that a real metric for your meaning in life? Or are you just trying to have some arbitrary, tick on the checklist? Fake work is going to cheat your future. It's, number one, going to keep you distracted from the real work that is going to make a difference in your future. Fake work is always going to pretend to be more important than it is. In other words, you put more into that fake work up front, and then when you actually get further down the road, you realize it was irrelevant. It was stupid. It was unnecessary. And you kind of regret all of that energy you put into, right? You regret all that stuff you put into your MySpace account. Oh my goodness, did I just say that on live stream? Yes. Anyways, the point is, we will pour our creativity and our energy and all of our time into stuff, and it really doesn't pay off in the future. It's not really worth it. And so I want you to be on the lookout for that, because fake work is kind of temporary relief from stress, from burnout, from work drama, from friction. It's stuff we do to get by. But when we actually finish the day or the quarter or the year, we look back and we don't have a lot to show for all of that work that we did. It was a counterfeit of work. It was fake work. And you always feel cheated when you look back and you say, why did I put so much of my time into that? The difference between fake work and real work is the future itself. I believe, and I'm just going to put myself out there here, I believe that real work is always going to have an element of future focus to it. Okay, at a big macro level, we're always thinking about the future, right? This day is about that day, the big day, right? When we stand before our Creator, and we're going to give an account for all the stuff that we did with the time that we were given. But even in a more micro or niche situation, you're thinking ahead about stuff on the calendar. You're thinking about events that matter to you, goals that you've made for your team, for your business. You're thinking about getting through college. You're thinking about getting ready for contingencies or situations that would really mess you up if you didn't have stuff in place. And so we're always future focused on things we need to get ready for, or things that we want to bring into the world in a timely manner. And so there's always a part of us when we're doing real work that is leaning into the future, that is leaning ahead with expectancy, and then also a sense of urgency. And so what I would encourage you to do is practice your work ethic, work on the way you imagine work and interact with the things you're doing with a future focus, and realize that there's going to be a kind of a pull, and you're going to be pulled into that project. You're going to be pulled into those tasks, and just figure out which direction you're getting pulled. Are you getting pulled into the future, or are you getting pulled into the past? Because preparation is always going to pull us into the future. We're always thinking about what's coming up next. We're always thinking about how we're showing up. And we're always thinking about the other people that are going to be depending on us when we get to those different points in the timeline. But procrastination is going to do the opposite. Procrastination is always going to pull us back. It's going to pull us back into the past and back into, whatever feels fun at the moment. And so we've got to be stirring up that urgency, mixing it with hopeful expectancy, so that way when we show up to work, we're actually doing the real work. We're not just faking it. We're not just going, through the motions, but we're actually working on things that matter in the future. We're working on the future itself. We're working on being, more prepared for the future, or being more present in the future. We're working on things that are going to have breakthroughs, and things that are going to, change the game, either for our community or our industry or culture at large. We're thinking about what life can be like, what, culture can do when we all put in that real work. So work on the future, work on, your future self, work on the habits and the goals that are going to help you be different, that are going to help you kind of work out all the gifts, all the potential, and all of the purpose that's been, planted in you. Work on the future. For me personally, whenever I admit that I was distracted, that I was discouraged, that I was just disconnected from what was important on my team, or with my time, or with my studies, I realized that I was missing that mission critical calendar component. I wasn't thinking about time at all. I wasn't thinking about what was going to happen in 2 weeks from now. I was just kind of tunnel focused. I was just thinking about one thing, whether it was whatever was on the computer that I was typing or writing or designing, or maybe a computer game I was playing. I mean, whatever it was, from my teenage years all the way up till now. We can drift if we don't lead ourselves with a timeline where we're actually like staying on track with the passing of time, with the passing of a few hours, where you say, hey dude, you need to go take a shower, or hey, this is your body telling you it's hungry, like go feed yourself and go take care of yourself and go interact with other people, and get out of your zone and quit being alone all the time. And time has passed. It was light and bright outside, and now it's dark outside. That means something. That it's not just all the same. It's not just all one big blur. Go do something with yourself. And when we disconnect from days and weeks and just the passing of time, we are drifting deeper and deeper into fake work. And so I really do believe in leading myself with a calendar with like working on the future where I know what is really important. So I just would, think about which would be better, and the calendar is where I can weigh out all these options of not just what if, but like what now. I'm not just thinking of everything that could be cool one day. I'm thinking about what will be important in a month from now. What do I need to actually get moving on? Because the calendar is coming. Things are always counting down and they're always approaching us. And so we've got to be focused on our future today. It's not fantasy. It is real. It is a real situation. So I actually want to kind of segue back into part of the conversation we had last Friday. And I just want to give like a little blurb of the 4 things your future needs. And because it kind of talks about this. So let me see if I can play this for you guys. Check this out. Conversation from last Future Friday.
I want you to make is ask yourself which areas need my investment today in order to pay off later. Some decisions will take time to mature, to develop, to come to fruition. Some decisions will actually have kind of like a load time. It will be so mission critical that you do not miss that step, because you can make the right decision too late and it doesn't count. So you have to know which areas do I need to invest in today so that when I plant the seed, I will trust the process and I will let all of this time begin to work for me. Every day you don't make the right decision, all that time is working against you. The indecision begins to compound against you. Now, every time you're going to make that decision, it's getting a little bit harder. Every time you're going to work on that project or you're going to have that due date, it's going to get a little harder. Why? Because your indecision is actually working against you. It's being compounded with time. Let me know in the comments that you're not going to wait. I'm going to make this decision today. I'm going to prepare to go there.
Nice. Okay. So that was from last Future Friday on the live stream, and I'm going to be putting out more shorter, kind of bite-sized content. I don't know if they will all be like mic drop moments, but definitely just, little on-ramps for people who, and leaders really, who want to pick up on this self-leadership conversation. That was Prepare to Go There 102. And you can check it out. The full live stream, the full conversation is waiting there. So the thing we have to realize is whenever we are showing up to put in work, we've got to weigh, like, put them on the scales and put them on the balance and see, like, is this future work or is this fake work? Is this going to actually make a dent in where I'm going, or is this going to be pretty dumb looking back? But I want to remind you and encourage you, it matters to do the pre-work and do the planning and really weigh out what you're going to work on. So that way when you're in the moment, you're not like getting duped. It's not harder to figure out whether what you're working on is real work or fake work, because you can clearly see it with a little time and a little planning. So future work is always better than fake work. And that's why I actually think about what I'm going to work on. I don't just, wake up and go do whatever. I know it's crazy. I know it's kind of different for some folks, but I actually work on what I'm going to work on. And I call that pre-work. I work on how the day's going to go. I try to future-proof my day. So that way, even if things happen unexpectedly, or even if I'm not at 100%, I can still make progress. I can still contribute to that bigger picture plan. And I'm taking at least a few steps in the same direction every single day. And that really does add up over time. So plan ahead. That's why Future Friday matters. That's why you've got to get your Pioneer Planner out. That's why you've got to be reflecting on how the last week went. And you've got to be like deciding, was it a win or a fail? And it's not like you're totally out of the game. It's not completely game over to admit that things didn't go your way, but it's actually helping you to course correct in small yet intentional ways. So that way you are staying future focused. So plan things out. And that's why I really just want to challenge you right now is the best time. Like Friday, in my mind, is the perfect time to assemble all of those moving parts into one cohesive plan. Doesn't mean that you're not going to improvise or you're not going to improve what that plan looks like, by Wednesday, but you're going to be better prepared and you're going to have the resources to be more present with the week to come. Friday is that Future Friday where you take a field trip into your future, and maybe you're just kind of like just off track completely, and that's okay. You get a little bit of margin right now to reset, to recommit, and go at it again. Maybe you are humming, like you are on track, you're doing great, you had a great week. I would say don't sabotage your future week with the past success you just had. Realize that you're going to need to collect your gains. You're going to need to actually slow down, and it's not going to mess with your momentum. It's okay to call it good for a day or two and then pick up where you left off. Maybe it's been just like a very difficult week. Maybe it's felt like an uphill climb, and it feels like every step you're taking requires way too much energy, way too much effort. And I would say that Future Friday is valuable even more to you because you're going to have to reconnect with what's important and remember what's possible when you actually do the steps to get there. So do this today. Just literally keep it super simple, low maintenance. Get a piece of paper, get a pen, and just start brain drain. Just put in the brain drain, and whatever's happening inside, let it come out. Look at it, visualize it, understand it, and say, you know what? This is it. It's not that scary. We can figure this out. And then go to work and actually figure it out. Figure out how you're going to make, the average day a little bit better than the past month you've had. Figure out what are the things that have just kind of been on the fringe of your week, of your workflow, but hasn't really been integrated into a normal workday, and say, okay, how could I expand? How could I scale? How could I grow? How could I stretch just a little bit more to include those things? Maybe you've been a little self-absorbed in the past few weeks, and you need to reach out again. You need to talk to a future friend, which is someone who's going to encourage you and coach you to keep going for that future frontier. Or maybe you need to switch gears and you need to be a mentor, and you need to reach out and serve someone else relationally and just help them work on something that's important to them. Maybe something that you've already figured out, and you can actually invest in that way. But whatever it is, I think Future Friday is literally one of the most durable and one of the easiest solutions, really strategies of self-leadership, because you're just going to need time to think. You're going to need time to face whatever you've been so preoccupied to ignore. And you're going to have to say, all right, this is where I'm at. Now, where are we going next? And either way, you'll feel better because of it, whether you're on the top and you're looking down and you're just kind of seeing what's out there, or maybe you're kind of just stuck somewhere and you don't even know how to move ahead again. Either way, getting away will always help you get ahead. So, all right, we are out of time. I really appreciate these small incremental investments, investing in yourself, investing in your work. And I think today was just that reminder that your work is worth it. Whatever you're doing, whatever you're passionate about, it's important. And you're going to have to sift out all of the counterfeits to your own contribution. So that way, when other people, think of you, they think of all the great things you're doing and not just all the mediocre things that just make us feel a little better in the moment. So go for the hard work, do the hard things, and realize that you're not fragile. Okay. I do want to finish with a conversation that I had with my wife, Sarah Joy, and Prepare to Go There 101. And it's going to help you figure out what your next step is right now. And it's also going to introduce the course that I mentioned at the beginning, which is Pioneer the Year. Pioneer the Year is a on-demand coaching course that I created in December for you to take on 2022. It's going to help you with life planning and leadership. And it really is the game-changing lessons that I learned in order to lead myself and stay focused on my future. I'm super proud of this project. I want to share it with as many people as I can. I would love for you to go through this, and I would love for you to share this project, share this course with other people. So without any further ado, let's check out this great leadership advice from Sarah Joy, and then I'll be back on the flip side.
Okay, before we wrap up this launch stream, this has been amazing, next level. I am already excited about seeing where these live streams go, because I know there's a lot of people out there and they want to make this year unlike any other. They don't want to hesitate. They don't want to hold back. They want to really go for it, but now they're going to get the strategies and the encouragement to do it.
Yeah. Well, I just want to congratulate you on starting season 2. I know we're kind of joking about being rusty with it, but we've really been head down the past few months, Peter working on his course and then me helping him just tinker and, figure out the back end of making it all happen. But there is so much stuff in this Pioneer of the Year course. So I would really encourage you guys to check it out. I've learned so much from it, and I'm not just putting on the fluff. It's not a course about how to be more productive and just how to fill up your days. It really feels like some coaching sessions, and it's hours of coaching sessions with plenty of breakdowns and walkthroughs, and you really feel like you're getting guided along for a strategic path for your life. And I think, everybody, your year doesn't have to start on January 1. Some people are well, I still haven't made my goals for the year and it's February. So, but people's years really, we're cyclic in different ways. So, some people, their year really ramps up in August, or their year really ramps up in the spring, or I feel like I come alive in the summertime. I don't know. So I kind of, probably because I think of my birthday, whenever my birthday is, that's when my new year starts. And that's when I kind of make more goals of what I want my next year to be as far as my age. So, you don't have to think I'm behind for the year. I can't really take this year planning course because it's February. No, your year starts now, or whenever you're seeing, you can plan for a year in advance. It can really be a rolling year, and there's no better time to start doing that than right now. And this course will help you so much. And if you're leading a team, it really goes into that. So anyway, read up on it, invest, some time, maybe watch the free training or get into some other stuff. But I would say go for this course because it's really, really helpful. And again, it's like investing in yourself, which is something that I wish I would have done sooner.
Beautiful. Hey, thank you, Sarah Joy.
That's amazing. Okay. For those of you that don't know, Sarah Joy is my wife, and we are celebrating our wedding anniversary. That's why you're seeing a different background here. And we came up to Nashville, Tennessee, and we're in part 2 of our trip. So we spent a few days in the city, and now we're hanging out, and we're going to be just enjoying time with friends and practicing some remote work. So it's been great, but we're still working on ourselves every day, and it's a joy. I love how Sarah Joy said you don't have to wait until January 1 of next year to like start a new year, right? Today counts. February 11 can be that game-changing moment for you. And so don't wait, go for it, and we'll be here for you. We'll be here to encourage you and to coach you as you take on the future. Remember, you're going places, but you got to prepare to go there. I'll see you next Friday, 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, and we'll keep going ahead together. See you then.